Hello fire sign friends. Welcome back. I'm Jess. Welcome to another adorably awkward intro. One of these days I'll get it right. Or consistent or something, but whatever. Hi, happy full moon in Pisces. The ADHD is ADHD or maybe it's the autism. I don't know. Something in the neurospicy world is really acting up tonight, but we're just gonna roll with it. This message is for fire signs: Sagittarius, Leo, Aries. These are for you. If this is your sun, moon, rising, Venus, north node, or any other prominent placement that you really want to check it for, dive in, please check in. Please check the messages for all of those that you feel are pertinent for you. All right. This message is for the full moon in Pisces. Very interesting astrology right now. Very interesting energies kind of across the board. Lots of people going through kind of like big transformational shifts that are almost here but not quite yet. That seems to be a kind of theme across the board. And this reading, I think, really just kind of is, kind of along the same vibes. Excuse me, hang on. So I'm pulling for you guys this is the Millennial Tarot. It's the back of the cards. They're really cool. Okay. So let's say, where do we start? Okay. The theme is pretty similar to, I did the water signs reading already, and I will say that the theme is consistent in saying like endings and beginnings are significant, which makes total sense with what's going on. So we have a lunar eclipse in Pisces. It's the first eclipse on the Pisces Virgo axis, which the nodes haven't quite shifted to yet. So this is like a preview into, hang on. Okay, just felt like that was loud all of a sudden. This is kind of like a preview into the energies that we'll be feeling and moving into more in the winter. I think it's in January when the nodes shift. So that's kind of like, this is just like a taste of that. But we are still going to be closing out the last 18 months. And then in a bigger cycle, we have Pluto, which will be moving into Aquarius in November, but is currently doing a little backward shuffle into Capricorn for one last time for our lifetime. So Pluto in Capricorn has been a 16-year cycle, and then on a larger scale won't come back around for almost another 250 years. So just these big energy shifts that are happening, and then there's smaller ones kind of also, like smaller circles that a lot of us are closing as well. So that's just kind of like some in general themes that we're all kind of dealing with, are these themes of closing out these cycles that we've been working on for the last 16-ish years, and then also growing into a new version of ourselves and leaving behind things that are, that don't really support this new version of who we're becoming. Okay, let's talk more about these specific cards. So we start off with the High Priestess, which is also called the Concert Goer in this deck. This is a great card to start with right away. So, well, all right, hang on, we'll come back to that. Excuse me. The High Priestess is all about connecting to our inner guidance and about trusting our own intuition and trusting our connection to our own divinity. So whether that is for you a connection to like a higher source without you or your own higher self, the High Priestess is encouraging you to dig deeper, to really dive into these parts of you that are opening up for more growth. So it's just saying to like ask yourself deeper questions. You know, there's been a lot of, there's been a lot of healing, especially over the last 6 months. Some of that was intentional, some of that has been inadvertent, but all of it has kind of unraveled in a really interesting way so that you have been able to like dig deeper. And that's what the High Priest is encouraging you to keep doing that. It's like that's what's going to help to finish closing out this chapter, is this trust in your own intuition to guide you through this part of the journey. Okay. Excuse me. Hang on. Sorry. Okay. Next up is Three of Pentacles, or in this deck, Three of Swag, work besties. So this card here in this reading, in this position, is talking about this is a time of learning. It's a time of, if you put these two together, right? Digging deep, asking questions, learning, but like learning about yourself and in the ways that you can. Moving on to the next card, which is the World. This is like integration. So the World is cycle completion, integration. It's a super positive card. And it's like these together. Oh, no wait, that's two. Sorry, I was just looking at the numbers. So High Priestess is number 2. So you have 2, 3 things. So progressive numbers are like things moving forward, the energy moving in alignment. And then the World is 21. But for a second I thought it was 1. So it's like, oh no. Anyways, all of these together just saying that like this is a time of integration for you, but it's like through these channels, through this time of digging deep into yourself and collaborating with other people to learn, and being open to learning from others about yourself, or about how to, like, this feels kind of like, it could be as specific as like seeing a therapist, or it could be reading self-help books or reading posts online that help you to talk to yourself, examine what's going on in yourself. You know, like not everybody has the privilege and like financial privilege to be able to afford therapy or to find a therapist that resonates with them. You know, sometimes that's like talking to your friends. Sometimes that's reading books or journaling. There's lots of ways that you can, excuse me, sorry. The burping happens with the channeling. There's lots of ways to explore like this energy, which is in the self-growth area. And all of it is already kind of happening for you. You're already doing this. And this is just your confirmation that this is serving you. Continue to dig into this. High Priestess, dig deeper. Because this is really gonna like serve you in a number of really super positive and wonderful ways. Okay, next up we have got Two of Thoughts, which in this deck is the Two of Swords. Now, it's funny because it does say TBH but that's not really what Two of Swords is for me. For me, the Two of Swords is about trusting our intuition. That's really much more the kind of the traditional meaning for the card, and it's also like the one that's in my reference dictionary. So for me, this is really much more about trusting this process. Two of Swords. is about it's like our mental, Swords as a, sorry, back up. Swords as a suit is about our mental landscape. So it's like the way that we communicate, it's our logic, it's our intellect, it's the way that we think and how we think about ourselves too. So Two of Swords is trusting your own mind and your intuition, them being connected in this case. Hang on. Let me find them. Really wanting to word it specifically. Yeah, really here it's just saying like this is just about trusting this process for yourself. Don't overthink it. Okay. They're like, literally just don't overthink it. This is so fucking literal sometimes. Gotta love it. But yeah, don't twist yourself in knots. Like you're already kind of doing it. Just keep doing it, and just don't be afraid to, maybe like poke at some of the things that hurt a little bit. If something triggers you, instead of taking it out on whoever triggered you, stop for a second. Examine why does that hurt? What is the source of that? How can I reframe that? Is that truly how I feel about myself or that person or this situation? Or is this just an old story that I'm carrying that I've just continued to perpetuate? Ask those questions in this poking around, digging for your betterment, for the world. This is for your betterment. And trust yourself to be able to make it through this process, that this is all really serving you. Okay, on the other side of that, sorry, breath was just because I needed to breathe, not because there's bad news coming, good news coming. On the other side of that, we have the Lovers, or what they call the Tinderists, and Judgment, quarter life crisis. There are some cards in the deck, in this particular deck, that I feel are really resonant with my general definitions for these cards, or the ones that come up the most for me when I'm channeling. These two, like the bottom part, not so much, but that's okay. It's still a super awesome deck and I really love it. And in other contexts, that makes a lot of sense. But in this context, we're going to talk about how the Lovers, in any deck, the Lovers is not a card about romance. There we go. The Lovers is a card about balance and choices, and it's about balance within and the choices that can sometimes be difficult choices for us to make to help realign that balance, that inside attunement. Here, though, when you're taking it in context of everything all together, so it's like investing in yourself to do this work, knowing that it is all working out like in your favor for your betterment in a way that's going to just have you even happier and more peaceful and more connected as you move along, and that you can trust yourself to make it through this process. You're going to realign yourself through this process. You're coming into a better alignment with yourself. You're going to be making different choices that align with this new version, and you are asking yourself these questions. So it's like you're making these choices and decisions, and then it leads to Judgment is like a rebirth. A rebirth is really the best, I think, the best definition for this card, because it's like a new you, but not a completely new you, just like an evolved version of you, which makes sense, right? You've gone through this process of self-examination and healing and poking around and trusting and rebalancing yourself, and how could you not come out, kind of like a newer, better, shinier version of you? And that's really awesome. There's an overall message here of really having faith in the process, like really trusting in this like happy, shiny new version of you, and trusting it enough to like really do all of this other stuff with a joyous, like grateful heart, like being happy to do this work instead of, okay, you know, like you can't like trudge through. I mean, you can sometimes, like some days, like you can't do everything positive, and I'm pretty fucking positive. Annoyingly so to some of my friends. But you know, you can just do the best you can. All right, bottom of the deck here, we have, oh, love this. We have the Four of Vibes, Four of Wands. This is a card of celebration. Here it's really just saying like, yeah, there's a lot to celebrate and a whole lot to look forward to, but don't forget to celebrate all of the wins that you have had already, all the stuff you've had along the way. It's really important to take a minute and celebrate. Like you even getting to this like kind of starting point where you are now has taken so much. Like you've been through so much and so much growth and so much shit. And like look where you are already. Like you're doing fucking great, kid. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Good job. And there's more good stuff coming. And then there'll be another cycle because that's just how it goes. We start a new cycle, we grow, we run into some conflict, we resolve that conflict, we integrate, and we close that cycle, and then we start anew. So just embrace all of these things. Celebrate yourself. Underneath that was the Six of Vibes, which is Six of Wands, which is the victory card. Everything's all right. It's all working out. There's a very like nothing too serious going on here because everything is always working out. So don't get too discouraged. Don't get too down on yourself. Don't take anything too seriously. It all works out great. You're doing great. You're kicking ass. There's a shiny new you right around the corner. All right, let's see. Wanted to pull, we're gonna do raise your vibration card. Just making sure it wasn't dripping. I got new fabric for my desk. My desk, it's a dresser. In my teeny office. All right, let's find a card for us. Laughing because this is the fire signs reading and the song is called Fire. Okay. This card says, my breath connects me to life. Let's see what it says. Okay. My breath connects me to life. In yogic teachings, breath is known as prana, which is another word for life force. The ancient yogis saw no distinction between breath and life force, and today the universe is encouraging you to tune into the power of your breath. We breathe without thinking, and yet when things get tense or overwhelming, there's a good chance we deprive ourselves of what we need most, air. Air holds the life force of the universe, and when we become aware of our connection to it, we create a pathway to guidance, support, and even abundance. Today you are being guided to take more breathing space in your life. When too many things are piled into your schedule, your breath can become shallow, your energy can be spread thin, and eventually you feel drained. So take note of your breath. If you are holding it or restricting it while doing your tasks in your daily life, know that that's not fully in alignment with your being. You weren't born to live with a half full cup. You are here to breathe with ease and live a life that is full of purpose, connection, and enjoyment. And the affirmation vibe of the day says, I take the time I need to breathe. Well, I love that. I love this deck. These are so great. They're always, I always think they're super encouraging. And I also feel like it is gently yelling at me to get back to yoga. So, message received for me. All right, fellow fire signs, I hope this has been helpful. Feel free, please, to check the readings for all your other placements. Please share this if you feel so inclined. Send it to a friend. Comment. All the things, none of the things, whatever you feel like doing. If you're interested in a personal reading, you can check all of the information on my website. Feel free to message me if you have any questions before booking. I think that's it. Happy full moon, or whenever this finds you. These messages are timeless. One of these days I'll remember to say that at the beginning. Anyways,